There's been a lot of talk about Operation Gotham Shield online, this nuclear detonation simulation over New York City and New Jersey this coming Monday and Tuesday. For all those that are awake and know about all the hoaxes and saps that have taken place, there's always a drill coinciding with a so-called tragic event. This is what I want to get into, but first off, I want to get into the occultic side of Operation Gotham Shield. Again, with Gotham, first thing people think about, of course, with Gotham is Batman. Goes back to England. Means homestead where goats are kept. Okay, so people always think about the concept of Gotham and Batman. But I want to make it perfectly clear, the concept of Batman basically came from Freemasonry. I'm going to connect all the pieces together. And first off, again, the concept of the goats. Okay, this is, again, Freemasonry. As you see here, Aleister Crowley in this sign for Baphomet. Okay, this symbol, which I shown many times with the Grand Sovereign Commander. I showed the dual 33s, but on top of the cap, this is the symbol of Baphomet in plain sight. Of course, they cannot have the actual Baphomet on the cap itself. They have to disguise Baphomet with the symbol. Okay, this is how they work. Basically translated symbols. Now, talking about Batman once again, Batman did not show up into the scene when it comes to comics until 1939. In this example here with this one comic, you see Robin first being introduced into the scene. Very first introduction with Batman taking an oath with a candle. This goes back to 1940. Where, again, taking an oath. It's all about masonry. This is anti-Bible, where the Bible says, do not take an oath of any kind. So these concepts are doing the exact opposite of what the Bible states. Now here's another example with Freemasonry and Batman in the 90s. I believe this is 96 or 97, where it states here, well, as you said, sir, the three murders of the Master Mason Hiram Abiff, architect of the Temple of Solomon. So very obvious with the connection with Freemasonry. And as many have seen before, episode 33 of Batman, the original TV series. Take a listen for those that have not seen this.
All are worthy. You can say that again.
And that is Bruce Wayne's grandfather, Mrs. Cooch?
His great-grandfather.
I understand he was tapped for Skull and Bones.
Tapped for it? Sir, he founded Skull and Bones.
So you see the connection again with Batman, Freemasonry, Skull and Bones. Now again, as I mentioned before, when people see what they believe is the Batman theme, no, it's the Freemason theme, again, of the goats, of the bats, when it comes to, again, Batman with Skull and Bones. Now I want to get into military insignias going back in time. Way before Batman, here is your first military insignia using the bat. This is from 1917 with England. Okay, your Royal Air Force. It all has to do with bats, of course, drinking blood. You know, a lot of these hoaxes and stuff, which I'll get into in a little bit, has to do with the idea of blood being shed. And of course, bats are about stealth. And the concept of the bat, as in Batman, with many different countries. Specifically, you see here with Russia, with the Spetsnaz, which is basically Russian Special Forces. You can see the similarities are very, very clear. You even have the incorporation of the lightning bolt, which is from Luke chapter 10, verse 18, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. And here you can see Vladimir Putin in the GRU Spetsnaz headquarters, and you see in the tile itself, there is the bat symbolism. Again, all about masonry. The world's a stage, and this is why, again, you see it incorporated in all these patches, these logos, insignias. Now, to understand, again, the concept, like I mentioned earlier, of Operation Gotham Shield. So, what's going to take place? Could it be a potential, hoax to follow? Time will tell. definitely be on the lookout. I don't like any type of so-called fear porn or putting people in panic mode, but understand, all they run are hoaxes. So, I believe in the future they might do a real event. So we have to be cautious. We have to be careful before we call anything a hoax right off the bat. So I do believe something might actually happen for real, and we cannot scream hoax right away. I'm careful with that, okay? But I know up to this point everything's been a hoax, but we don't know what the future holds. So just being cautious about calling anything a hoax when we have to first examine exactly what's taking place. But again, up to this point, nothing more than hoaxes when it comes to drills coinciding with them. Okay, let's take a look here. Again, the concept of Batman, the bat and the blood, so-called blood. There's no blood here, only fake blood with the so-called Aurora shooting, the Batman shooting. I find it very interesting. No one else has mentioned this with Century 16. Okay, when it comes down to it, Century 16 is your 33. Okay, this is how far they go with these planned scripted events. Take a look here as well, of course, for those that know anything about this, about the Aurora shooting hoax, the Batman movie itself. You have the Sandy Hook connection, how all the hoaxes and saps are connected. Everything is connected in this world. Of course, as you see here, the 1995 Illuminati card game and the similarities with this card, and of course with the Aurora so-called shooting, nothing but a hoax. When this all went down, many people thought that James Holmes was some type of MK Ultra victim, when he's actually nothing more than a crisis actor, of course, with the orange hair for your 33. As I show many times, the only color in numerology that is 33. Now, another very interesting connection. Again, it's amazing how this all connects with the so-called Aurora shooting, theater shooting back in 2012. Take a look at this model kit going back to the 60s with Batman, and the company is called Aurora, and you have the Batman all in one. Here's another shot of this model kit on the side. Find it very interesting. And also the movie poster itself for The Dark Knight Rises, and you have the 9/11 symbolism in plain sight. Very obvious to see. And again, like I mentioned, the idea of Gotham or Goat City, and you have Sandy Hook on the map. Okay, this was strike zone number 1 you see on the map, and as you can clearly see, it's very close. So basically giving you hints. This is how they do it. Now, after you had Sandy Hook, then you had the so-called Boston bombing. And of course, another Batman reference with the Joker Tsarnaev. Joker Tsarnaev, when it comes down to it, in this Photoshop with all the makeup of the Joker, the bottom line is he is the Joker. Okay? And of course, Joker just so happens to be 33. Find it very interesting how they come up with all these concepts and how everything connects. And then you go to the Bataclan, of course, the Bataclan and Batman, that connection. Okay, the yellow and black as well when it comes to Batman. Very clear. Just a little bit of a closer look at the Bataclan. Okay, the supposed terrorist attack, nothing but a hoax. Okay, so what's going to happen here? If you're awake, you know nukes are nothing but a hoax. You don't have to concern yourself with that, but that doesn't mean some type of event will not take place. More than likely, of course, it'll be nothing more than a hoax, and the masses will buy it. Again, with all these events, I always look at them carefully before I just call them a hoax. I don't just scream hoax when I see an event take place, but it doesn't take much time for me to figure out when an event is a hoax. It just is very obvious. From fake to real, it's very easy to see when you're awake. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But again, it's clear as day that we know that all these hoaxes that take place throughout history, specifically recent history, there are drills coinciding. So this is something to look out for. You could take it with a grain of salt. Again, I don't like to spread, fear porn. This is just something I wanted to touch upon and again, the occultic side when it comes to Freemasonry and the concept of Gotham and the Batman idea. Came well before the whole idea of Batman itself. It has the roots when it comes, again, to Freemasonry.